everyone, welcome to the 12 Man Insight Podcast. I'm Mo. I'm here with Tommy. What a game, Tommy. What a game on Sunday. Seahawks pull off a win 2017 against the 49ers. The big bad wolf, Tommy. What did you think about this game? What did this game mean for Geno Smith and the entire team?
Yeah, I mean, first, really great win. I mean, every time you can beat the 49ers, I don't care what the situation is, awesome win. Breaking the streak. They didn't play perfect. They didn't. But anytime you can go on the road, especially play divisional rival, one we haven't beat in a long time, and get the win, you got to be happy. You got to be happy. I mean, it was a gutsy showing by the team. It really was. I mean, Gino. I'll go on a whole tangent about Gino here in a bit. I mean, he showed up. He showed up and hopefully silenced some people, especially with that last drive and just throughout the game. I mean, it was a really good showing and a lot of positives to take. Lot of positives to take.
That was a great game. I really enjoyed that game. That final drive, 12 seconds left. I think was it 13 seconds or 12 seconds on the clock left when Gino went on that scramble and scored the touchdown. I was holding my breath, man. I was like, will this be an interception? Will this be some kind of sack? Will the offensive line hold up? Shout out to Olu with Timmy. Hey, Tommy, first of all, a lot of things happened before we spoke last time.
I
Connor
know,
Williams,
I know. It's been crazy.
Connor
Oh
Williams
man,
retired, and was it who else left? And was it
Dodson.
Dotson
We ended up
left?
just releasing Dodson and Connor Williams retired. I mean, talk about a week. Talk about we've got a lot to talk about today. I mean, um, my whole take on it is the Connor Williams thing is one thing, and like you don't really know what's going on, and it's not our position to assume anything, and so I wish him the best as he goes off into retirement. But and I he's got some connections here in the Dallas area, so I actually know some family members of his, and I've heard he's a really good dude. So I do wish him the best as he goes off into retirement here. But on the Dodson side of things, um, I think that was a surprise to everyone because that was one of our free agent signings, and he started off the year pretty well, and surprisingly, we just released him. I know why. I mean, to be honest with you, his just from watching film, his run defense was just not up to par. And knowing Mike McDonald, if you want to play linebacker in his system, you have to stop the run before anything else. Like that is your number one job. You need to have gap discipline. You need to go downhill hard. You need to have all of that. And he just wasn't quite getting it done for us. And I loved what I saw from Tyrese Knight this past Sunday. Tyrese, he had 10 total tackles, 4 solo, and a quarterback hit with a 77.5 PFF grade. I
That's
mean,
really
that
good.
is
He's a Texas guy, right?
promising stuff.
He's a Texas guy in Illinois.
UTEP. I don't. He's from Florida. He went to UTEP.
Oh yeah, he went to UTEP. Okay.
Um, Yep. So out in El Paso, about 9 hours from me. So a bit further away. But you know, it's fun to watch these young guys play and just develop because Tyrese had some solid games early on when Jerome Baker was out earlier in the season. He's shown some flashes, but I think he really started to put it together on Sunday. Like that was it was easily his most complete game he's had in the Seahawks uniform in his rookie season. So you got to be excited. It almost seems like the Seahawks may have found. I don't know what his ceiling is, but for where he was drafted, you got to love what you're seeing. The Seahawks have
Fifth
something
round, fourth
there. I
round.
don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah, fifth round, fifth or fourth round. Yeah, actually, I could be
fourth
so wrong.
round.
It's
Yeah,
fifth or fourth
I
round. I know
remember.
that for
I
sure.
remember there was like a
Um,
backlash on where he was taken. A lot of people, gave him like a bad grade. Gave Johnson a bad grade for taking him there.
and that's the beauty of scout. It's
Yeah,
all subjective. Like one guy could not, and the next guy could. And the thing is, it's so subjective. If scouting was a perfect science, there'd be no draft busts.
yeah,
There wouldn't be any draft busts, right? So, you know, to see him, come along and start to really pop off is super exciting. Really
yeah.
excited to see what we can see from him the rest of the year.
How about the new leader on the defense? and Jones, man, and Ernest
Yeah,
Jones, the new leader on the
Ernest.
defense. He was wearing the mic. Man, it's been a long time since I saw that type of Seahawks linebacker play. Just anticipation, hitting, sideline to sideline. I was very impressed, man, with the two linebackers.
I've got a bone to pick with PFF. I've got a bone to pick with PFF. They gave him a let's. I have it right here. They gave him a 49.7 grade on
It's
Sunday, and
crazy.
I respect PFF, but they're wrong. They are wrong. He
Yeah.
played phenomenal on Sunday, and that was also his best game in a Seahawks uniform so far. I mean, he was all over the place, filling gaps. He looked fantastic. He what did he give? 13 total tackles, 6 solos. He was just all over the place, filling gaps, playing sound football. I mean, great game from Ernest Jones.
I like the game plan Mike
And
McDonald
I
put.
mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I was saying was like just those two. They're two athletic guys, and they're starting to I think build that chemistry. On the film corner, the defensive play I did, you can kind of see the communication is starting to pick up, and you can
Yeah.
tell they're starting to get more comfortable with each other. And I thought that was really really promising. And it's just ultimately it's just Mike McDonald figuring it out. Like you're coming in, this isn't your roster, and he's just watch. You got to learn as you go. You got to see what these guys can do. And so I think he saw what he needed to see from Tyrell Dodson and said, "Well, we'll give you an opportunity elsewhere." I like because a lot of people are like, "Oh, they just." There's a lot of ways you can talk about it, but what I saw was like, okay, he wasn't going to fit in this system, and they let him go elsewhere with a different opportunity where he might find a place where he does fit well, And I don't think it was out of any disrespect, or if anything, it is more out of respect to not just keep him around and put him behind a rookie. Go
Mhm.
play, go elsewhere where you might fit into their defensive scheme a little bit better and have a chance. He's on a short contract. Give yourself a chance here. So, I thought out of anything that was a little bit more out of respect than I think people were thinking.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Talk about the Mike McDonald game plan. Mike McDonald with time, elite. We saw after the Thursday night game in Atlanta, he dialed some things up. This game, the 49ers game, he dialed some things up. His plan was really, really brilliant, Tommy. He just said, hey, Niners, run between the tackles. You're not going to get anything on the edges. He had this kind of wide stance on the defensive line. Just gave a lot of room up in the middle, but he was like, hey, I'll take anything in the middle. I'll come down and tackle. You got to earn every single inch of this running game.
Yeah, I mean, and that's just trust with your linebackers. And he came out. I mean, after the bye week. I mean, like I said, it wasn't a perfect game. It was not. But coming out of bye week, there was you can tell that there was some soul searching going on, and it seems like they have figured some things out. Especially with what you were saying. Just a lot of trust with the linebackers there to align like that up front and let your linebackers make plays. I
Yeah,
mean, that's trust, and he must, And I know Mike, and I know he's dove in on the film and saw some things that he needed to fix, saw some things he liked, and just applied it on Sunday, and it paid off. It paid off big time.
yeah, 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 yeah. The division is wide open, man. Division is wide open. I loved everything I saw from the game. Just didn't like that turnover on downs at the end. I was actually I was like, damn. After that fourth down miss, try, I was like, hey, 49ers are gonna come in. They're gonna kill the clock, and they're gonna win this thing. But shout out to the defense stopping them, giving the ball back to Gino with 2 minutes left. That was great. But this offensive line, man, a little bit shaky. Abe Lucas, huge difference, huge upgrade. Like injured Abe Lucas, 50% Abe Lucas, better than anything you got, man.
Yeah, talk about a difference maker at half speed. But
Yeah.
man, I mean, there were a couple plays just diving in. I mean, he's putting defensive linemen right in their butt. And that's
Mhm.
exactly what we knew we had in Abe Lucas. He's a road grader, and the pass pro was there. I think the pass pro will be better as he gets healthier and kind of gets his footing back under him. But in terms of the run game, we got exactly what we thought we'd get from Abe Lucas. I mean, he
Mhm.
came in and did exactly what he had been doing his rookie season. And, just that getting him back was huge. Getting him back was huge. There's another player I want to shout out. Yeah, okay. So before I do that, I do want to say, like, the Niners, they did have their way at times, and everyone's going to bring up that, the Seahawks got all of their points when Nick Bosa was on the field, and that is true. Nick Bosa is Nick Bosa, though. I mean, he's a great player. That's why he
All
gets
pro.
paid the big bucks. He's an all pro. He's one of the best defensive linemen in the league. So he's gonna do Nick Bosa things. You got to live with that. That's why he gets paid the big bucks. And so, but Laken Tomlinson had a couple key blocks in that game, and that's a player that
I'm
I've
seeing
been on.
improvement. Yeah, I've been seeing
Yeah, I've been
improvement.
on quite a bit this year about poor performances, but I shouted out in the film clip on that Geno touchdown run. He took that defensive tackle and rode him right into the pocket and pancaked him, which gave Geno that running lane. So I want to shout him out because there were a couple times there where he had some key blocks. There was the JSN pass that set up the Kenneth Walker
Oh yeah,
rushing
the one on the
touchdown.
sideline. On the sideline.
Yeah, I believe it set up the Ken Walker rushing touchdown. He's out in front. He's out in front of everybody. Like, he
Mhm.
is 10 yards down the field blocking.
Yeah,
There were a couple plays there where I'm like, okay, Lakin, like, I see you, okay. And then we could talk about everyone. Charles Cross, staying consistent, just doing what he's been doing all year.
yeah. I just
Lakin
didn't like that
Thompson,
one play. That one play on the end zone. But shout out to Gino for getting that off to JSN. You know how, like, I think Charles Cross was beat so bad he was just on his back.
yes,
And
yes,
Gino just got it out. Greg Olson on the broadcast was like, okay, let's do something easy here, but just spin that shit, and he took it to JSN, and I was like, man, that was really impressive. I think that's the only time he got beat.
yeah. I was talking about Lakin. Had some good plays. Olu, how about that? 80.8 PFF grade with an 86.8 run block grade
Shout
in
out
his
to
first
Olu.
start. I think that's the sixth since the Max Unger trade. I believe I read this. He is the sixth center performance for the Seahawks since the Max Unger trade to have an 80 plus PFF grade. I think it was
Man,
I think it was
it's a
Britt
long
four
time.
times and then Ethan Posick one time. So, and Britt was in 2016. I think Posick was either 17 or 18. So it's been a while. We haven't had the 2020s with any center grades over 80. So that is a really promising thing to see. Once again, I talked about with Mike Jarrell earlier on. I want to see how he does next week after there's film of him, because what his matchup is going to do this week is going to watch the film and know how to attack him. So I want to see how he is able to adjust to that in this upcoming week. Because with Mike Jarrell on his first start against Atlanta, I thought he was solid, but I was like, I want to see what happens when that defensive end matchup he has the next week gets film on him, and we kind of saw him take a step back. So I do want, before I jump the gun and start really highly praising Olu, I do want to see what he has for us next week. But with that being said, what he did this week was phenomenal and really promising.
Yeah, yeah. That guy is gonna be good, man. I think he just needs time to develop. Everywhere he went, this guy was balling. In Michigan, I think he won. Was it the Remington Award or some kind of award where
Yes,
the best
yes,
offensive lineman in the
best
country?
center,
But
best center in the country. Yep.
yeah, he won that. He just needs some time to develop. I'm seeing great stuff from Olu. I'm seeing great stuff from Lincoln Tomlinson. I see the improvement on the offensive line, but Anthony Bradford, man, that's the only guy I don't see any improvement. Like
Nope.
every week, same shit, same thing. Gave up a lot of pressures with the 49ers as well.
And I hate being like overly critical on guys, but it's the same thing every week. It's the same thing every week. Like, I
Yeah.
just I want to find something positive to try to build them up, but I can't.
Yeah.
I just can't. And that is the frustrating thing. And I know the Seahawks know it. We talked about the quote from Mike last week. We're just not seeing it, and
It is
so
what it is.
it is what it is, and then with Abe, 76.8 PFF grade, that is a super solid showing for your first game back after quite an absence. So, I'm excited to see him, progressively get more healthy, and just turn into the Abe Lucas that we knew from his rookie season. Because there were people saying he was better than Charles Cross his rookie season. It's a pretty fair argument to make. I think he was really really good in his rookie year. And
Yeah.
I kind of want to, and we lost some years of development there just because he wasn't on the field. But I am interested to see what we can get going forward.
I was reading in some stuff from Hawk Blogger. Shout out to Hawk Blogger. They had a clip about they were talking about Abe Lucas when Nick Bosa was on the field. Looks like Abe Lucas only got beat twice, and one of the times he got beat was when Charbonnet missed his assignment. Did you see that play when Charbonnet missed
Yes,
his assignment on
yes,
the
I
side?
did, I
Yeah.
did.
So that's the only time he got beat when Nick Bosa was on the field. So that's a 50% Abe Lucas. I think he's going to play great. He just needs to be in football shape. It looks like he got a lot of cramps, and he was tired as hell. So it's going to
Yeah,
take some time until he's in football shape.
it is. The NFL is, yeah, it's heavy duty. You gotta be in top tier physical shape, and he is. But there are some that game shape versus practice shape are two different things. So he'll get his footing back under him, and he'll be all right.
Yeah. Shout out to JSN. 2 straight games with 100 plus yards and 10 plus catches. Are we seeing the emergence of JSN? Is JSN here?
I'm happy you said that, and I'm yes, yes, he is arriving, and it's funny because when I was a couple episodes ago, I was questioning like, can he be a receiver one?
Yeah.
Now I don't know. That we don't know yet because DK is still here and DK is receiver one, but we are seeing his emergence. Like he is becoming more and more. He's receiver two now, 100%, clear as day, receiver two for us now. That we know.
Yeah.
And we are starting to see him come into his own. He's getting more comfortable. He's knowing his role, and it's fun to watch because he is a talented player. He's starting to get more comfortable in this new offensive scheme. Because I mean, shoot, this is his second offense in his second year. He's trying to learn. I mean,
Yeah.
it's kind of a quick flip, and so you kind of you look at his rookie season, you're like, okay, most guys come in their second year understanding the offense and kind of start to settle in. Well, you had to learn a whole new one this year. And so we're starting to see him become more comfortable, and it's fun because he is a fantastic player, and we're starting to really see him, open up and become that player that we know he can be. And I mean, it was 10 receptions, 110 receiving yards, had an 88.2 PFF grade this week.
Wow.
That's big time. That's big
That's
time.
big time.
So
Big time.
we are seeing the arrival of JSN, in my opinion.
I love it, Tommy. I also think Ryan Grubb needs to use it more. Those tunnel screens. Did you see those tunnel screens?
Yes,
JSN's.
yes,
Oh my
yes,
goodness. Those were sick. Kind of reminded me of those Ohio State days. That guy, he just took it in
yes.
the middle, broke some tackles. Ryan Grubb needs to do more of that, man. I love those tunnel screens, the jet sweep. Get him involved, man. Do creative stuff with JSN. I think he can be an explosive
And
player, man.
you can use your other guys to open that up because the
Mm.
Seahawks like to do like a 3-by-1 set where they're going to have three receivers on the left side, and then they're going to isolate DK on the right side as that single wide receiver. And you can mix that up because a lot of time with that, they're going to DK. They want to give DK that one-on-one on the outside.
Yeah,
Okay, that works. Why not get in that formation where these DCs know, okay, they're thinking DK, where the corners know, oh, they're thinking DK, and then hit JSN on those screens and kind of give them another look out of that formation. The, the emergence of JSN is only going to open up so much for this offense, and it's going to open up the run game. I mean, we saw Ken Walker run a lot better this week than he did the last time we played the Niners just a couple weeks ago.
yeah,
And
yeah,
everything was opening up just a little bit more. I'm not saying we scored 20 points, right? And we scored 2 touchdowns. So it's not like we just came out gunslinging, great offensive performance. It wasn't a great offensive performance, but it was enough. And the offense moved the ball enough. And it looked a lot more alive than what we saw in Seattle against the 49ers just a couple weeks ago. That I can say with confidence.
yeah, yeah. Man, loved the way JSN played. The only thing on offense I didn't like was Gino's interception. I think that was like a boneheaded decision. I did not like that. Like that was just far away from the. He had time in the pocket, far away from everything. I was like, hey, Gino, man, just don't give anything to the haters. But at the end of the day, like he got it done. But man, like I want to see a clean game from Gino. I don't want to say anything bad about him today. He won the game. He was a clutch, but man, clean games, man. Especially and down the stretch when you have to win most of the games, you need more clean games from Gino.
Yeah, I mean, you want to win the turnover battle every time, and it's hard. I mean, I'm just preaching to the choir here, right? It's hard to be an NFL quarterback. It is,
Yeah,
and there's so many different things you need to know. The game's moving at a million miles an hour. Um, we obviously, the interceptions have been a thing for Gino this year. And I think that's just going to come with it at this point. I think that's going to come with it. And I like the resilience of the team where, a couple turnovers could have doomed us. We've seen it before. We've seen this story many times before against the 49ers. Couple picks, show a little bit of life. There's a pick. Okay, the Niners go back down, they score, and we're playing from behind the rest of the game. And so with Gino, he's had that a couple times this year, where it's just what was that?
yeah. I was like,
What was that? What was that pick? I mean,
yeah,
that's really we've seen that before. It was not like a first time thing, and we do want to see him clean that up. We do, but what he showed to me, what we saw in the last drive, kind of erased that entire thing because
yeah.
it was a takeover. It was a complete takeover. He found JSN third down, used his legs. He was so decisive on that last drive. There was no, because I think at times we've seen Gino be a little indecisive, especially in those bigger moments where we have to have it. And what I loved on the last drive, and he was just very, very decisive. He didn't sit back and think. The first opportunity he saw, he took it every single time. And when you're on that 2 minute drill, that's what you have to do. You can't sit back and think because then the opportunity you had a second ago is gone. You have a split second to make that chance. So on his touchdown run, it was very decisive. That big run he had before that was very decisive. You have to make a decision and go with it, especially with when you have very little room for error on that last drive.
Yeah. Talk about this. Seahawks 30% under center, 60% shotgun, changing up a lot of stuff. They were the previous week they were the most they were the highest team under shotgun. Now they're doing more in center under center. They're mixing things up. I like what Ryan Grubb is doing, man. Getting some pressure off this offensive line. Short 3-step drop backs. Quit the quick game, jet sweeps. Keep the defense on their heels, man. Just don't be in shotgun all the time. I didn't like that. Ray Roberts, he came in last week. He talked about that as well. So I like what I'm seeing from Ryan Grubb. I like what I'm seeing from the staff, man. Changing things up, being open to changing your ways. I think that's what Mike McDonald talked about when he got hired. He said we want people with a growth mindset, people who are not stubborn on their ways, people who can change. So I like that. What did you think about the overall strategy on offense from Ryan Grubb?
Yeah, anytime you can give it. I am a major fan in switching up looks. That's why I was very critical on Pete the past few
Yeah,
years because on defense it was just the same look every time. And I'm not saying we just ran cover three the entire game, but like for the most, it was very vanilla. And I think when you're competing against different coordinators, changing your looks, giving them different looks is the key. I love it because it forces the other side of the ball, the opposition, to adjust. And I really do love going under center more because that's going to help the offensive line. That's going to help the running backs. That's going to help the receivers because you can't, as a defensive lineman, as Ray actually told us last week, is like if you're under center, you can't see the ball right away. If you're in the shotgun, these defensive ends can pin their ears back and go.
yeah,
If you're under center, you can't just undisciplined run up field and then you're lost. If it's so I think it was really, really important that we kind of jump to that. And we don't have to do it all the time. I do think we're at our best when we're in the shotgun, but you have to keep the defense honest. You have to keep them honest and go under center and give them a different look and help your guys out. And we saw it. I know that was addressed over the bye week. And like with everything, it's a game of adjustments. So let's see next week when teams are seeing that we go under center and see those looks. It's all being studied. I want to see how we respond to adjustments made against that because that's not something we did all season long. And so I think we caught the Niners off guard a little bit there, especially with such quick turnaround from the last time we played them. And so, it's just like I'm cautiously optimistic. Cautiously optimistic. I want to see what happens after adjustments.
Yeah, yeah. What did you think about Gino's Steph Curry celebration?
Now that I love that ended up on the Instagram story for sure. I was fired up for that one. When in the Bay Area, you got to do it right. Hit the fans with their
Yeah,
own medicine. So
yeah.
I loved that. I love that, and it's
It
it's
was a
it's
chippy,
awesome.
yeah, it was a chippy
It,
game though. You said Diamondre Lenore, like retweeted his I think so last year's comment when he said like
yes,
so he retweeted that one as well. So it was
I
great. It was a
love
chippy
it.
game.
I
K9 got
love it.
into it.
I love it. I love bad blood between the Seahawks and the 49ers. That
Yeah,
is the best. Like that is when that rivalry's at its peak.
yeah,
And so I love it. I love all of it. I love what Lenore does. I love K9, Chino, all that. I want it because that just adds the fuel and the fire to that matchup. And so I love it both ways. I mean,
yeah,
that's what makes that rivalry special.
yeah, yeah. Devin Witherspoon, man, we didn't talk about him, but hey, that tip pass, Jonathan Hankins interception, he was all over the place, blitzing. Did he get any sacks? I don't think he got any sacks,
No
but
sacks. There was there was one play he was on a blitz and he got cut block and he like flipped as he's trying to like deflect the pass in the backfield. It was a funny play. Guy just plays with reckless abandonment. He just plays with so much heart. You got to love it. It was a really funny play because he's just running in there with no remorse and just gets flipped trying to deflect the pass from Purdy, and it's fun. It's fun to watch him play because he just, we say it every episode, he plays at 110 miles an hour every single play, and he played fantastic. He gave us. He 8 tackles, 3 solo, 3 passes defended with a
man, sweet.
78.2 PFF grade. And I broke down the tipped pass for the pick on film. But that was, he had a fantastic game. He always has. He always does, really. And um, yeah, he's
But I
just
think he's more
continued.
comfortable. Like before, he was
He
like,
is.
I think he was learning the defense. He was a little bit late to a little bit kind of stuff. We didn't
Yeah,
see that, instinctive anticipation that we saw last year in Pete's vanilla defense because that was just out execute you. So he was trying to get into places, but I think he's more
and
comfortable in
and
Mike's defense.
and Pete's defense does allow guys to play with instinct a lot. I think we saw it with Earl.
Mhm.
Pete's defense is a very instinctual, friendly defense where he does let his guys just kind of roam free and do what they do. And then you look at Mike McDonald's offense, and it's a bit more technical. Like you do this specific thing, and your teammate is going to do this specific thing, and it's going to work. You just have to do your thing and trust your teammate that he is going to do his thing. And I think for the first time this season, we basically saw almost a complete game from everybody doing what they're asked to do. I mean, we held a Kyle Shanahan offense for 20 points.
Yeah,
That's a good defensive performance. And so it is exciting that it seems like the defense really, really played together on Sunday. And so I really hope that they can carry that throughout the rest of the season because I do think that would really, really benefit this team and take them to a different level that we haven't seen yet.
yeah. Here's my prediction for the Seahawks going forward in the future. Not the games, but next year, year after, just building a team. I got 8 players, Tommy. You got to keep these 8 players. Everybody else is expendable. I'm talking about 8 players that haven't gotten paid yet. So on offense, you pay Gino, you pay K9, you pay Charles Cross, you pay DK. Everybody else is extendable. On defense, you pay Boye Mafe, you pay Devin Witherspoon, you pay Devin Witherspoon's not up for contract, but you pay Tariq Woolen, you pay Ernest Jones. Everybody else is expendable. That's what I believe for this team going forward. That's the future. You pay those your top 10 guys. and you fill in the rest with free agents, cheap free agents, and good players. So I think that's how they have to go. Your thoughts?
This, my like quote that I like to live off of is like, you pay great players, you don't pay good players.
Yep.
Good players are easier to find than great players. I think, and I agree. I think if I got to do 4 and 4 on each side, um, I'm paying Gino, but on a short term contract. Like, I'm front loading that thing, and it's going to be a shorter contract. Um, DK, I'm paying DK. I've seen enough. The offense is just. I think DK's absence may have almost heightened why we should pay him.
Hmm.
Um, so I'm paying DK, paying Gino, paying Charles Cross. That last one, K9 is a really good running back, and that would basically. I don't want to get into the contract details because we could talk for hours, but like,
It's tough,
if if he's
but
at
that
the
guy's
right
special
price,
though.
if he's at the right price, then yes, because
Yeah.
he does a lot. Um, but it's also that fourth one to me is fluid because if Abe Lucas can finish the year healthy and pick up where he left off in the rookie season, I'm paying him
Yeah.
because
You
you
need to
have
pay,
two
you need to pay him.
cornerstone tackles, and to me, that's gonna look at the Chargers. They just paid J.K. Dobbins a little bit on a value, and they're fine. They're totally fine, you know. So that's kind of how I would approach that. On the defensive side of the ball, let's get this one out of the way. Devin Witherspoon, paying him Seahawks for life. That guy. Um, Ernest Jones, absolutely. Boye, and I'm still taking Byron Murphy. I'm still taking Byron Murphy. That and we interior defensive lineman. Just look at the Cowboys. Look at the Cowboys.
I don't
Linebacker
know.
interior.
So people. So I'm talking about contracts that are up for payment.
Oh
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
goodness. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Well then, yeah, I'm taking. Well, let's just forget that. I'll take. I'll take a Reek. I'll take Reek.
Mhm.
Um, and
He
he's
played
one
better
of
though.
one.
He would play better.
Yeah, he's one of one. There's nobody like Reek in the league. So if you can have a player that nobody else has, you pay him. Like he's been very good, minus a couple rough plays, maybe a rough game or two, but all in all, you're gonna live with that. You're gonna pay him because he's been outside of that, he's been phenomenal.
Yeah. Yeah. Are the Niners Super Bowl window closed?
Oh, um, mm-mm. No, it's interesting because with that Purdy contract looming, you don't know, like that could tie him up big time. But if they continue to struggle this year, they're going to be in position for a pretty solid draft pick.
Yeah.
And you know they ace that pick, they could be right back to where they were. You know, so I don't want to jump. It's hard because Super Bowl windows open and close so quick. Like the
Mhm.
Commanders going to get Marshawn Lattimore, they see a window right now,
Yeah.
and people can debate whether that's a real window or not. It doesn't matter. Like that's what the Commanders believe, and so you know I don't want to. I'm going to say no because the Niners have a lot of talent. Is it kind of are the hinges
Old
unlocked?
old
Are the
time though.
hinges unlocked where someone can close it? Yes, 100%. The hinges are unlocked. It's no longer just locked open. Like, but if I'm the Niners, it's a friskier time because the desperation should definitely be rising. There's definitely some questions, but to say it's closed, I can't do that. They have too much talent, and if I ever saw the Niners playing anybody else in the NFC right now in the postseason, I'd be like, that's going to be a great game. I mean, just you got to think about it. You look at the Niners and you see them playing anybody else in the NFC, you're going to look at that and say, oh, that's going to be a good game. Like
Mhm.
that's who they are. They still are a good team that is working back to getting healthy. They've got talent. You know, they've got really good offensive mind coach. They've got a quarterback that can do it. I've got my opinions on Brock Purdy, but they've got a quarterback that can do it,
Yeah.
a great running back, a solid receiving core that is obviously banged up with Ayuk's absence. You got George Kittle, Trent Williams, Dominic Pooney. You know, they've got guys, they've got building blocks on the defensive side. You know, Greenlaw's out, but you got Fred Warner, you got Nick Bosa. I like Mustafa. I'm a huge fan of Mustafa. I want the Seahawks to get Mustafa.
Hmm.
Um, and, you know, that's like the first. I talked to the guy on the 49ers staff over the summer, and like this first thing I said on the phone was like, "Cannot believe you guys got Mustafa." I was like, "That is
Yeah.
a heck of a pick." Like, he's a menace. He's a
What round was
menace.
he?
So fourth, I believe, fourth
What
round
round?
pick. He was out of Wake Forest. Um,
Wow,
yeah, he's
that's
yeah.
good.
So yeah, I'm a big fan of him. So they've got pieces. They do. It's just a matter of them kind of retooling. I don't think this is their year by any means. I don't think they'll get back to the Super Bowl.
Mhm.
But to say it's closed, I can't say that.
Is it true that Kyle Shanahan doesn't let Brock Purdy change protections? That's what I saw on film,
I
and
don't know. I don't.
yeah, Brian Baldinger, I think he was talking about it. Somebody was talking about it on Twitter on how. Oh, I think it was Grant Cohen. You know Grant Cohen?
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
he's a 49er beat reporter. I think he's for is it the Athletic or I forgot what he has his own podcast as well. He was talking about that. He was like, "Hey, the 49ers just throw hot. They have like two options for Purdy. They don't let him change protections. It's kind of and what they asked Kyle Shanahan about it, and he was like, "Oh, we built everything inside, and we don't do it." So it's crazy.
It really is. If that's true, and I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. But that if that's true, then I don't know if I'd be surprised. I do think they try to ease it up on him a lot. I mean, you see the playmakers around him. But that is interesting. That is really interesting. And I know Shanahan likes to simplify things for sure,
Yeah,
but yeah, I don't know. That's very interesting. I'll have to
yeah,
take a
it's
closer look
crazy.
at that.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Take a close look at that because I think he let Matt Ryan change protections in Atlanta. That offense
fair.
was
I mean,
different than this one.
that was different. Matt Ryan was an MVP, under Shanahan, so there's all that to factor in as well. But
Yeah,
yeah, I don't know. And the Niners fans coming out of this one, I'm sure are frustrated and definitely have some questions because they're
yeah.
not who they were.
Meltdown.
They're not who they were. Like
That was meltdown.
um, they're in the same boat. They're 5-5, right? They're coming off a couple Super Bowl appearances. Here they are back against the wall, still banged up. So this division's funny. This division's hilarious. I mean,
Yeah,
5-5, 5-5, 5-5, 6-4.
the
I
Cardinals
mean,
might win this one, man.
no kidding.
Never
I
know.
think this guy, and here we are. My opinion has changed after this weekend because they had to have that division win. They did. If you start the season 0-3 in divisional play, like you're cooked.
Yeah,
You're not in position here to win the division. So now they get that one, things start to get a little bit more interesting.
yeah,
We haven't played the Cardinals yet. Do I
yeah,
think we can beat the We play the Cardinals this weekend. Do I think we
yeah,
can beat the Cardinals? Heck yeah.
yeah.
I think we can beat the Cardinals.
Let's talk about that game. Let's talk about that game because,
Yeah,
um,
actually, before we jump into that, I actually want to run by one more thing.
okay.
The Seahawks 3-1 on the road
Damn,
with
that's
one
crazy.
with one loss being at Detroit on prime time.
That's
And I
crazy.
think Detroit's. To be honest, I think Detroit's the best team in the league.
Yeah, and they scored 30
And
points against them.
they were very much in that game.
Yeah,
The score won't do justice, but they
yeah,
were. And I don't know. It's interesting. You look at their home record, and it's like, oh, what happened? What
yeah.
happened there? So it's interesting. 3-1 on the road.
Yeah.
Road
Let's hope for the
Warriors.
seventh seed, man. Let's get the seventh seed and play
If you
road
get to
every.
seven, shoot. Let's shoot. I mean, we're still we're let's go for the 4 seed right now. Let's get that
Yeah,
home
yeah.
playoff game. But yeah, I
We're
know
not
what you're
good at
saying.
home. We're not
I
good at
know, I
home.
know what
So
you're
let's.
saying. I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. No, yeah, let's actually, you know what? In hindsight, let's get that 7 seed. Who would be the 2 seed right now? Is it I need to look this up, but like, is it Green Bay or it's not? It's not. Well, Detroit's the 1, so Green Bay can't be the 2.
Detroit's good. The Eagles are good. The
Oh,
Commanders are
it'd be
good.
Philly. Oh yes, wait a
Yeah,
minute. Let's give us Philly. We
yeah,
don't lose to the Eagles.
yeah.
Nah, but
So
it's interesting. Yeah,
yeah, but I agree with you. I think with the playoff picture from the NFC West, maybe there's only just one team who makes it because the rest of the division has some good records. If you look at the like from the NFC North, you got three teams with really good records. NFC East, you got the Eagles and Commanders. You got not the Texans. I mean the Falcons. So you got the Rams are good. Man, you got some good teams.
yeah. I mean, I'm gonna on that discussion. I'm gonna fraud watch 2 teams, the Falcons and the Vikings.
Okay.
I'm gonna take them out of the picture here. I don't think.
You're
I think
not
the
you're not a
Falcons.
Sam Darnold believer.
I think Sam Darnold's really missing Christian Darrisaw right now. I
Mm.
think I think the Vikings are really missing Christian Darrisaw, who's one of the best tackles in the league, out for the season. It kind of seemed like they haven't been the same team since. Um, so the Vikings are a good team. Like I say that as the Seahawks are sitting here at 5-5. Like and we could be very much in that boat. We don't know anything yet, but it is. I think for the Seahawks, you have to go for that 4 seed because you've got Green Bay and you've got the Commanders. And neither of them are going to win the. I don't want. I don't think they will win the division. I don't think the Commanders will. I think don't. I think that I don't think the Commanders will. I'm pretty certain the Green Bay won't win the division. So that you're going to put Green Bay. You're gonna have Green Bay. In there. You're going to have Commanders in there, and then so things get a little tight, So for the Seahawks, and you have the Cardinals still at 6-4 right now. So for the Seahawks, you really, really got to push hard to try to win the division because that's going to be your best chance, in my opinion.
Okay, so what do you think about this Sunday's game against the Cardinals? Cardinals, I don't know, man. They had some really good games. I haven't been watching their games a lot. They had some really good games where they scored 30 plus points. They had some crazy games as well. By the way, did you see Kyler Murray just eating pizza with a regular dude in New York?
Yeah, yeah.
That was
I
crazy.
would hate. I would hate. That's just such a regular thing. Like they get that day. Because they have that time. They have that time. They fly in on Saturday, so that everybody gets free time Saturday just to kind of do whatever in these cities and stuff. So um, it is funny though, and the guy didn't even recognize him. That's so New York. That is so New
Yeah,
York.
yeah. The guy was like, I think
Um,
he was from Sweden or something. He was like, "Oh, I'm from
yeah.
Sweden." So uh,
But for this
pretty.
weekend, I'm I I've said it earlier. I'm cautiously optimistic. I think I want to see how we adjust. I really do. I want to see kind of how we come out and adjust. But I feel good. I honestly, in a way, I do feel pretty good about this weekend. The Cardinals' offensive line is much improved. I will say that. Like the defense is going to have their hands full because if you give Kyler time,
Mhm.
he's a good quarterback. He is, and um, I'm going to say Seattle gets it done this weekend. Though I really do. I think it's going to be a really it's a division. It's an FC West game, right? So there's going to be some chaos. It's going to be a little ugly. It's the way it goes. But I think the Seahawks are going to win like an ugly, but not super ugly 27-24 game, maybe
Yeah.
27-23, something along those lines. I feel confident that they're going to get it done. I feel like winning in San Francisco. It could be a turning point for this team because the confidence that you can have coming out of that game. And I think that's something they really needed was a bit of a confidence booster. So I'll take Seattle winning this weekend. Um, I think they're going to get it done.
Do you think we see more of Abe Lucas? I think he'll play a little bit
I
more snaps.
yes, I think he'll slowly ramp it up week by week for sure.
So I'm looking at the schedule,
Mhm.
and we have next couple of games. Arizona, at home versus Arizona, at the Jets, at Arizona again. Um, Green Bay Sunday Night Football. That's going to be really good. Minnesota Vikings, Chicago Bears, and the Rams. So here's what I think. Um, I think they can get 4 or 5 games. I really think 9-8, uh, 10-7 is possible. If they would need to beat the Cardinals at least once, beat the Rams, beat the Bears, and hopefully, if they want to get to that 5 wins, they got to sweep the Cardinals.
Yeah, I mean my prediction. So after the next 3 weeks, we've got Arizona, and New York. I think
The
we split with
Jets, the
Arizona.
Jets, the Jets can't beat
Yeah, I
us.
think we split with Arizona. So I think we walk out of that 7-6. And then we've got that 3 game stretch against the NFC North. Which I think we take 2 out of 3. So I'm thinking nine and what is it, 9-7,
Mm.
and then that Rams game is like the turning point. Like you win that, I think you get in the playoffs. If you lose that, then you're kind of praying for some help. And we've been there
Yeah,
before. With the past
yeah.
2 years, we've been there. So that'd be my prediction. I think we'll beat Minnesota. I don't think we'll beat Green Bay.
How about the
Um,
Jets? The Jets.
We'll beat the Jets. We'll beat the Jets. We'll split with the Cardinals. We'll beat the Bears in that Rams game. We'll see. We'll see what that
Yeah,
Rams game has for us.
yeah. Minnesota's tough though. They have a good defense.
No, they are tough. They are tough, and I think, but I do think that we should be able to get that one done. If we beat Green Bay, then we'll lose to Minnesota. I just think of those three NFC North games, we'll take 2 out of 3 in some fashion. I
All
feel
right.
good about beating the Bears though.
Yeah, Shane Waldron. Oh, Shane Waldron's not there. Shit.
No,
Oh, you can say Shane Waldron's so bad.
I know. Oh no, he beat himself before
He
we
beat
had the
himself.
chance. Before
Yeah.
we had the chance.
Shane Waldron was a disaster, man. I don't know how he got a
Mm.
job, but um, he was a disaster. Some of the and I feel bad for Kill Williams, but hey, you know one person during the weekend, I didn't watch the game fully. One play caller that I was like, and I watched some of the game, and I was like, man, Tommy was right about this guy, and Joe Brady, man, Joe Brady from Buffalo Bills is no joke. You know,
He's the real deal.
some of the ways that he's been helping Josh Allen. Josh Allen's already great, but some of the ways that he's been, giving Josh Allen some answers in the running game, those screen games, with some backup Amari Cooper and backup wide receivers, he's got to be a head coaching candidate.
100%. Like I'm telling you, it's been like 5 years. I was like, I want Joe Brady as the Seahawks OC. Like this guy is legit. I love what he does. I mean, he makes it look easy at times. So I appreciate it. I appreciate the approval there. But yeah, the Bills have a good one there for sure.
Yeah, yeah, that was a good game that I missed, but got to support your team, man. Got to watch your
Oh
team.
yeah. Oh
But
yeah.
well, I caught the highlights and I caught like some on Red Zone between commercials, so it was good, man. It was a good game. But Tommy, looking forward to next week. If you guys love the show, please subscribe to the show. We come on here every Thursday. You guys can click subscribe and follow us on Twitter. We're on Instagram. We're on TikTok, all the social media channels. So thanks again, and we'll see y'all next week.
Peace
Peace.
out.